Hi, I'm Cameron Grenry, and I'm going to walk you through the setup and first couple of rounds of a game of unintelligent design. It's a cooperative game where everyone wins collectively if their populations get from starting at 6 up to 12, or just survive long enough to run through the draw deck twice. Everyone loses collectively if any one population goes down to 0. You'll need the deck of cards, 2 sets of counters for population and mutation points, and a few standard 6-sided dice. Everyone gets one of the 4 niche cards, which goes face up on the table in front of you. Deal 5 of the other cards to everyone, and give them 6 population markers. I get the Predator niche card, and an initial hand consisting of Speed, Horns, Long Neck, Abundant Food, and Plague. Plague is a play immediately event, and since I was dealt beginning of the game, it gets discarded and ignored. And I draw another one, Big Ears, to replace it. At the beginning of the game, each player has an initial group of 6 critters, which gets everyone 4 mutation points each. Except for the Omnivore, who gets a bonus mutation point. Omnivores do tend to evolve faster than other niches. So now I really look at my traits. I can afford the Horns, but since I'm a Predator, that +2 to defense isn't all that useful. The +1 foraging from the Long Neck is helpful, so I buy that, leaving me with 1 mutation point that carries over until next turn. If I get another 4 next time, I'll have enough to buy Speed, which costs 5. The Herbivore buys Burrowing, which gives them a +2 to defense, which will be much more appropriate for them. The Omnivore has the Hybridization card, which gets them another 3 mutation points. So now they have 8 they can spend on parental care. The Scavenger doesn't buy anything this round. For most parts of the game, it doesn't matter what order anybody does things in. Everybody can do all of that stuff on their own at the same time, though you do want to keep an eye on what traits everyone else is evolving. When you get to the foraging stage, however, order might matter. If it does, the Predator goes first. So the Predator makes the first foraging roll. I get a 2. That would be a failure, but because someone else in the game is playing the Herbivore, I get a +1, and another +1 from my newly acquired Long Neck for a total of 4. That's a success, and my population increases to 7. Pause for a second. Here's how foraging rolls work. A total of 3 to forage breaks even. Everybody finds enough food to survive, but not enough to increase the population. If your total is 4 or more, like here, your population goes up by 1. If your total is less than 3, somebody starves to death. Sometimes life just sucks. But if your die roll is 2, you still get to add in your other bonuses normally, like I just did, and try to save yourself anyway. The bonuses put me up to a total of 4, so my population went up, even though it was a low roll to start out with. The Herbivore, on the other hand, rolls a 1, which is a complete failure automatically no matter what bonuses they have, and their population decreases by 1. The Herbivore's special ability doesn't apply because it wasn't a successful foraging roll. It wasn't a total of 4 or better, they didn't find enough for the population to increase. I could play my Abundant Food card to help the Herbivores out, but it's early in the game and they'll probably be able to make up that loss in the next few rounds. I'm going to save it for now in case it becomes vital later. The cool thing about these modifier cards is that you can play them on anybody, and you can play them after the die roll. The Omnivore rolls a 6. Anytime you roll a 6 for any reason, it explodes. You roll again and add that to the total. The Omnivore rolls again and gets a 5 for a total of 11. A total of 10 or more to forage means that their population increases by 2. Parental care is basically the same as the Herbivore's ability, and it increases again for a total population gain of 3. The Scavenger rolls a 5 and has a +2 foraging bonus for a total of 7. Good enough to increase their population by 1, but that's all. Now, because I'm a Predator, I also have to prey on someone else. First I pick who I'm going to go looking for. The Omnivore population is boomed, they've got plenty to spare, so I'm going to pick on them. I roll to forage again to see if I can find them, and come up with a 3. My +2 bonus still applies and makes it a 5, which is a success. Now that I've found an Omnivore, I still have to take one down. Everyone gets 1 die to attack by default, and I get a second one because I'm a Predator. Rolling 2 dice gets me 9. Defense is only ever 1 die, but there are a lot more bonuses you can accumulate, so it's not as unbalanced as it seems at first. The Omnivore rolls his defense and comes up with a 6, which means he gets to roll another die and add it. They don't have any bonuses to defense at the moment, so they have a grand total of 8. I catch the Omnivore and eat it. The Omnivore's population decreases by 1, and mine increases. Because I'm a predator, it increases by 2. The omnivore also has the option to make a predation attempt. At the moment, they've got 8 individuals. I've got 9 now that I ate one of the omnivores. Even with me having eaten one, the omnivores are still in good shape. If they succeed on a predation attempt, their population will go back up to 9, which means they'll get fewer mutation points next round. Wait a minute, fewer mutation points? Yeah, larger populations evolve more slowly. As long as you have a population of 8 or smaller, you get 4 mutation points every round, plus possible bonuses. Once you hit 9, though, the number of mutation points you get each round starts decreasing down to none if you get to 12. Don't worry much about that, though. Remember that one of the ways to win the game is for everyone to get their populations up to 12. But that means that now that I've increased my population to 9, I'm only going to get 3 more mutation points next round, and I won't actually have enough to evolve speed. Anyway, back to the omnivore. They can make a predation attempt if they want to, but they're going to pass on it. The last thing I have to do at the end of the round is discard something. I have abundant food, horns, speed, and big ears left. Horns doesn't do much for me, just the +2 to defense. But I want to keep speed to buy when I have more mutation points to spend. And abundant food just in case. Big ears may or may not be worth buying, but it's worth holding on to for now. So horns is going to go to the discard pile. And this is the exception to the predator goes first rule, and I'll come back to why in a minute. When discarding, the scavenger goes first, and they're sitting to my right. They're going to discard long claws. Which makes sense, since scavenger doesn't have any use for that attack bonus, and it's a pretty expensive trait. My horns goes on top of that, then the herbivore tosses along legs, then the omnivore's grinding molars goes on top of the stack. End of the round, back to the top, drawing more cards. The scavenger can draw from the discard pile. Nobody else can do that, and no other cards should be going to the discard pile at this point, so it doesn't matter if someone else goes first. This is why the scavenger discards first, to make sure that there are other cards on top of the one they threw away, so they got some other options to pick from. Sitting on top of the discard pile is grinding molars, which the scavenger likes, so they pick it up instead of drawing one from the stack. They didn't play any cards in the first round, so they can only draw one to replace the single discard. Everyone else only has 3 cards in their hand, so they draw 2 from the deck. My 2 cards are Meteorite and Invasive Species. Bugger. Once everyone is done drawing, I play them both because I have to. The Omnivore drew Stagnation, so they get no more mutation points this turn. We leave the card in front of them as a reminder. Of mine, Meteorite is resolved first, with everyone losing 3 from their population, except the Scavenger who only loses 1. Plenty of carcasses around to feast on, apparently. Then Invasive Species resolves, and everyone else steals a card from my hand. Those event cards are done, and they go to the discard pile. I'm a little cranky about losing speed, but me being able to attack is the least of our problems right now. I've still got 6 in my population, but the herbivore is down to 2. They may need that abundant food this round, which I say aloud so that whoever got it from my hand is paying attention in case things go badly for the herbivores again. Everyone collects mutation points except for the omnivore who gets none. We're done with stagnation, so it moves to the discard pile.